bad on its own, it also never really suited the team because they had scaling everywhere and losing lanes.
And really, I think the biggest for me was actually Ezreal Braum is not the solution for Misfits when Rakan is banned. On top of that, I think you want Maxlor, even though he navigated the early game really well on Evelynn, he needs a champion that can actually go in.
Right, I mean, a big problem was he forces Sengoku to blind pick his mid laner and get counter picked, and then he grabs Evelynn, which wasn't even good in that composition, but that is in the past. New game, same bans from Misfits.
Now, of course, we are getting to first pick territory as Olaf, Draven, Thresh taken off the table, Urgot, Rakan, Kalista. It is Alistair one more time. Just very quickly, Deficio, this Urgot priority, it was huge on 8:15 in the LCK finals earlier today. Why is it showing up now in Madrid in finals weekends?
There are certain champions where players do not actually realize how strong it is because they just don't think about Urgot as a potential thing. But once you test it enough, and it definitely happened in LCK over the 3 weeks break they have, teams figure out, wait a minute, this pick is actually so insane, it's almost impossible to gank him because he's so good when you're close to him. And also he can build tanky while still dealing a ton of damage. So he's such a power pick now that we didn't actually expect. But also in the LPL, we also do see it.
Also, since we've actually seen Vitality banning it in all of these games, it makes you think that even though they haven't played against Misfits in a while, they're maybe going, well, Alphari actually played a couple of games of this in solo queue. Maybe there are options for him to go on to that pick.
And we'll find out whether or not that Urgot slides through into picks and bans later this series. To catch back up on the draft, no huge pivots in the draft yet. It is the Alistair first pick, but because Vitality chose red side, this time it'll be in Mickey's hands. The Braum is handed over to Jack Troll, and Attila will once again get Kai'Sa.
Now, the change I do like is the priority on Kai'Sa as opposed to Ezreal. Ezreal's lost both games so far today. It feels like we're going for later game scaling AD carries. The Kai'Sa and now the Tristana both fit that bill.
Yeah, I also love the fact that it's Mickey getting the engaged support.
Brilliant.
Such a big difference compared to, like, while he's a great Braum player, you don't have a lane you suddenly play around a lot. Alistar Tristana is actually a lane where if you do get ahead, you do have quite some kill pressure because you have a lot of ways of starting 2v2 fights against against Attila and Jack Troll.
Yeah, I was about to be really surprised if they didn't lock in that Cho'Gath. Alphari has been so consistently insane on that champion, coming up with huge solo kills and just being a rock for this team. All split long, he has been consistent and has allowed the rest of his team to focus on other areas of the map.
Now this could be a key one. Do they grab either a jungler or mid lane and ban away two bans or two target bans on the side of Misfits? Or do they just grab Sign and say, you know what, we're happy with the first rotation, we have bot lanes locked, top lane locked, now it's all about mid and jungle, which is the key thing in this matchup.
Yeah, we fall into the situation where, again, we expect Vitality to ban two junglers. Now Misfits, they've actually been banning mostly mid laners in the second rotation so far this series. Zillion ban potentially, or do they take away the Kindred? I think that if you take away one, it largely eliminates the other.
What would you prioritize, Deficio?
Depending on what you want to play in the mid lane, I would probably get rid of Zillion.
Well, they just did, so you're a genius.
Sadly, I said it like 2 seconds too late.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. You could have looked really smart, but
I don't want to cheat.
Yeah.
I'm being real here.
Not like on those superior analyst predictions.
Oh. Don't be jealous.
You know
now.
somehow. Yeah,
you're the new guy. It's okay you're not winning the first split.
Well, where does Vitality take their next ban with Trundle and Skarner removed from the pool?
Now they ran out of bans.
But here's the thing, they actually left open the Graves, so they almost got baited in, I feel like, by the hover of the Skarner on Maxlor, because if we actually put him on the Graves, he's really happy.
Do we get a Rise ban now? Or do they leave it open against Jizuke? As I said, coming into the series, it is the one pick they've always loved to grab for him if he wants to be a huge carry, and they do ban it again.
Yeah, because again, I feel like while we expect Kikis to go for the Kindred right now, there are options. Maxlor was very comfortable playing the Graves into that champion, and might actually make Kikis a little bit less comfortable because, again, in the last game, when he went for the early Kindred, they banned away the Graves to take that away from Maxlor.
And I love that both junglers are trying to make life hard for their mid laners. They're effectively telling their mid laners, hey, you should pick your champion first so I can counter pick. But in this draft here, it is actually Kikis grabbing what looks like a Gragas jungle. Still waiting to see 100% what's going to happen here.
Yeah, it should be the Gragas jungle. And right now, what they're just setting up for is big, beefy frontline to protect this Kai'Sa in the late game. You have the Gragas barrel to knock away the engaged playmakers from Misfits and keep him alive.
And while that would make sense, the reason I don't fully trust it yet is it's Kikis. And there's a world where you put a Sion mid lane, put a Gragas top, and then you can still grab a jungler once you see
That would
the
be a really
Sejuani
sad
on
world
the other
for
side.
Vishio.
I mean, it really depends on how aggressively they want to pick jungle. Oh,
He's
we're back, baby!
Senkux has not played this champion since he was undefeated, since Misfits were undefeated at the start of the split. He picked it against Fnatic. Caps brought out the Wukong, and he was annihilated. He was then scared from this pick, but when it's the clutch moments, they're tied 1-1 with Vitality
carry versus carry
here in
mid.
Madrid, and he's gonna be battling against Jizuke's LeBlanc.
No more roaming champions on both sides. We get carry versus carry in the mid lane. Sejuani Yasuo is such a fantastic combination. Sejuani can set up everything. You can benefit from the fact you are melee champion in the mid lane with the Yasuo, but on the other side, if there's a carry Jizuke wants to play when Ryze is gone, it's gonna be LeBlanc.
I cannot wait to see how this matchup plays into one another, but when you look at all of the tools on the side of Misfits Gaming, Yasuo has been enabled by more and more and more champions.
Oh yeah, everything.
Recent patches, and everything is set up to set Senkux up.
Exactly, and I really want to highlight, before the LeBlanc got locked in, we showed Yamato Cannon next to Jizuke, very aggressively debating what they should do. And it looked like he's simply asking, are you ready? Can you pick LeBlanc here and shut this down? Because if we don't, with all the setup he has, this Yasuo will carry.
But with a LeBlanc and a Gragas, you absolutely play through this mid lane. We saw in game 2, Kikis aggressively diving towers alongside his star mid laner. Now they're on champions that are even better at activating that potential. But it's not going to be an easy one because Maxlor and Senkux are just as prepared.
And we're in a world where Kikis grabbed the Gragas jungle so Jizuke could last pick a mid lane carry. We have not seen this vitality since they played against Schalke in the regular season, when Kikis had this Gragas and they lost.
Well, let's find out a little bit more as Drakus is standing by with the Moose.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am joined by the Moose coach of Misfits. Now, I gotta know, you've swapped from the defensive style in the mid lane. Now, both mid laners in this series are playing carries. Why the swap now?
There's this assumption that we don't play around mid, which is untrue. We just pick against what we think is best against enemy teams. So we can play it through mid, and we're going to show it this game.
All right, excited to see it. We'll find out. And back to you at the desk.
Thank you very much. This assumption that they don't play through mid. I think when you see the supportive champion pool in the second half of the split, it is one that is defendable. And now eyes on Senkux. How well will he perform on this Yasuo?
Yeah, let's see. He was great in the start of the split. I think as Moose tried to highlight was more the can't play through mid lane and saying, you know what? Let's hopefully prove them wrong if you're a Misfits fan.
Is this the game that defines it? After the Moose has gone on record, after Senkux has pulled out Yasuo after how many weeks of not seeing it? Several.
I think so, yeah. I mean, for me at least.
And look at this. This is a very similar style of composition that they would run at the start of the split, outside of perhaps the Tristana. And Senkux was a beast in those 9 games, playing champions like Yasuo and Aurelia. He was actually a massive carry for a team and one of the big difference makers in why they went undefeated for so long.
Now, unlike the 2 previous games, gentlemen, these junglers need a little bit of time, ideally, want to scale up. So are we going to see a slightly slower, earlier game than we've seen in the 2 previous?
I actually don't necessarily think we do. Right now, Cabochard is actually in the bottom lane. We're going to have to get into that in a second because with Braum and the fully charged knockup from a Sion, they could actually just instantly get a kill.
Oh my god, he doesn't know!
What? The Q's being charged! Hunt Summon! Up into the air. He needs to flash away. Will he do it? 100 hit points, Summoner he'll use! Hunt Summer survives!
Mickey saves his AD carry because he headbutts Attila away from the fight, so he couldn't flash in for the last auto attack.
It's an insane play. Bwippo is in the audience, losing his mind, taking notes for what he's going to do tomorrow against Schalke.
Unbelievable. Mickey reading the situation, the playmaking support, making plays down bottom to save Hans Summer, but he is flashless, he is healless, and Attila and Jackroll have the tools.
Yeah, and Cabochard has to instantly TB top, so it's Vitality saying, we value the bot lane so much here that we're okay with Cabochard falling behind to get Hans Sama down in this lane here. Attila with the early CS advantage, and of course, the massive summon advantage.
I love the fact, too, Trevor, you're asking about, oh, is this going to be a slower early game? No, it's going to be a faster one. They're going to camp the bush at level 1, but Cabochard did give up a lot to make that play. He lost his teleport and lost a few minions on that first wave, and Alphari's trying to trade up against him with that advantage.
That's really frustrating and difficult when you're going into Alphari's Cho'Gath. He has played that champion in 6 of his 10 playoff games this summer, and he has definitely showed a mastery on that ability.
Now, Trevor, you asked, would we get a slower early game based on the junglers? And yeah, sure, it might still be a bit slower than the last 2 games, but we still had a level 1 setup with a Scion in a brush down in the bottom lane.
All right, gentlemen, I do have a question to ask as Maxwell's setting up for a potential dive here. Flash is available for Cabo. If we look in the middle lane after this replay...
Okay, so let's pay attention to the entire setup. Cabochard charges full Q, Jaxel jumps in. Look at Mickey here with the headbutt. He knows who's going to kill his AD carry. It's Attila, so when he knocks him away, there is no range damage to finish off Hansama after he flashes, and that's the key part, no range damage.
And it's a lesson, too, to all the solo queue players out there, because Mickey didn't actually level nobility until that moment. Usually you take the Q at level 1 on the All-Star. No, he waited until that pivotal moment. If he doesn't do that, his AD carry goes down.
Very well played. Definitely one of the reasons that Misfits have been showing up a little bit over the course of the playoffs. So we caught a quick glimpse there of Senkux being shoved in, I think expected in this matchup, the Yasuo versus LeBlanc. And literally every time I want to talk about his Yasuo, there's a place somewhere else. Kick is flash and body slams available. Remember, flashless Hansama. Mickey decides to go back.
TP.
That's because Misfits are turning this one around. There goes the flash. Headbutt backwards. Kickers is the target. Alphari gets the Feral Scream on the backside, and the Rapture does not find one. First blood to Hansama. The rest of Vitality are running for their lives, and I think Misfits are too weak to die.
And once again, we have a bot lane Misfits can play around. Mickey's on a playmaker, and what a setup. They think they can just jump in, but he turns around, calls for the TP, and then you get that kill onto Kikis.
And you have to remember, too, it's a teleport advantage for Alphari because Cabo used his at level 1. It goes horribly wrong. Now Vitality, after a brilliant start of the game, have lost a kill, have lost a lot of minions to that tower in the bottom lane, and Hansama is once again set up in perfect position to carry this game.
Now the thing for Cabochard is he can walk back to lane after pushing it all the way into the turret, seeing as Alphari was gone. He now will get his TP before Alphari and can try and make a similar play later. This is their first setup. And there's actually a rule with a lot of teams where if you don't have TP advantage on top side, be careful with chasing down in lanes. Vitality, they forgot about that. And they get punished for it. It's still only 1 kill. So you're trading a full TP cooldown for 1 kill here.
Yeah, apart from not having the teleport, everything else looked really good because there's no flash on Hansama. You have the Predator boots on Kikis, so you should be able to knock it down.
All right, Mickey's trying to hold this wave as best as he can, and you know what? It's not slower at all. It is a fight everywhere once again. Flash forward from Attila. He picks up the kill, and Vitality, they even out the kill score.
It's the Vitality bottom lane going in and going hard. Now with 2 members here, Hansama's trying to last hit under this tower, and he should be okay because no one else from Vitality is in the area.
And now if you wonder, why on earth would Mickey be there? Why would he tank the entire minion wave? Well, he's holding it for his AD carry. It's one of the very tough things about a support life, is you gotta make sure that this AD carry can return and pick up the giant wave before it dives to the turret. So he tried to be a good support, but it was at the wrong time. He ends up getting punished for it. Senkux is fighting.
Senkux, where's the Steel Tempest? Can he find the knockup? No! Flash away. But that is exactly what you want to see.
That's a pivotal cooldown to lose, though. Actually, they're looking for Mickey X. No flash on this All-Star.
Kikis and Jizuke trying to hunt him down. No ultimate available.
Mickey's
going low. Here comes Hansama into the vile breath. Hansama, second kill onto Kikis. Mickey's running for his life. He's burnt alive by the Ignite.
He's still going.
Down from Hansama. Hansama picks the right one. He's chasing the real Jizuke. Less than 100 hit points. A heal from Attila. And Jizuke escapes with his life.
Kikis keeps getting baited, finding these summonless members on Misfits, but it's Mickey X to turn it around. Senkux had ticked over to level 6. The displacement effect from the All-Star set up for the kill.
A lot of kills back and forth here. Luckily for Vitality, both their kills are on the carries. Luckily for Misfits, both their kills are on Hansama. So they're actually happy where it's going. But Kikis on Gragas, He's trying to play too aggressive. He's trying to look for plays too much. It's onto Mickey, but here's no bot lane.
Yeah.
They're in base.
It looks really good at the start when it's just 2v1, but then it quickly becomes a 3v1. The knockup, of course, to lock down Kikis. And then Jizuke is able to trade back, but he loses both of his summoners in that fight, and honestly would go down if it wasn't for Attila coming back in at the last possible second for the heal.
Attila at the right place at the right time. It means it's 2-2 in kills. We're 8 minutes in and gold is bang on even.
Remember we talked about that TP earlier from Kabashot being ready soon if something happens bottom side. Kikis, he just never stops. You're on a Gragas, mate. You can farm. You don't have to permagank everything.
Lies, Deficio. He wants kills. Vitality are always looking for the early game fight.
And it is the Predator Gragas, so there is more options for you to be really proactive.
For some of our longer-term viewers, you may remember when we talked about junglers as being herbivores or carnivores. People who like to farm the jungle or people who like to farm champions. And Kikis definitely falls into the carnivorous state. Senkax has evened out the CS. He's picked up those Berserker's Greaves, and we see him actually chasing forward into Jizuke over and over. With the help of Mickey, he just needs a knockup. Will it come? May not even be needed. Glacial Prison comes down and easily picked up by Maxwell. 3-on-1, they get the kill.
It was so key that in the last trade, Jizuke lost the flash. That leads this very easy setup once Naxor gets on over to his level 6 to come mid lane, to play around mid lane like Moose said that Misfits could do and get another kill.
Going towards the top lane right now.
Can he do anything? Cabo's low on mana, got his ulti and has flash though. I mean, with Feast on cooldown, I don't think there's enough damage there to Deficio, and you can see Cabo, he backed away. I feel like he was early enough.
It's very, very true, but obviously because Kikis has not been able to have any impact, he's actually not able to kind of help Jizuke in that mid lane when Mickey's roaming in there, when Maxwell shows up, and now we get a lane swap from Misfits, sending Hansama to top side.
Yeah, check this out, because Misfits, they actually got the push in bottom lane first, so they're up in Temple. They also have Tristana, who's very good at knocking down early turrets, but Cabo takes damage to clear the way.
All right, let's take a look at this. Mickey and Maxwell coming in. Cabo's going to be able to escape with his life for now. I was holding my breath in case there was follow-up, but there wasn't an opportunity just yet.
Yeah, it was really scary for Cabo, but it's a very important thing to clear that wave so you don't give time for Misfits to hit the tower. Now Attila and Jackjoel can match in this 2v2, but Misfits have no intention of matching. They want to fight.
They absolutely do. There's a knock-up into the air. Cabo's going very, very low. Already used the ultimate. Flashes over the wall, but he's locked down by Sejuani. Decimating Smash gets a two-man knockup. Where is Senka? Hansama goes so low. He's taken out. Here comes Attila. He gets a double kill with the Acapian Rain. Hansama's with him down. There may not be enough damage on the side of Misfits. Senkex has already used that last breath. Flashes over the wall. Goes through the Rift Tail, and Jackjoel's trying to chase him down. Ignite has already been used, and Mickey will be chased down by Jizuke. Vitality, they win the fight.
They nearly wiped Misfits too as Jizuke drops the dubstep Ignite. Fantastic stuff out of them. They match the fight from Misfits in the river and come out with a massive victory.
Oh man, Misfits, they felt so confident because they had to push top lane. They moved to mid first. That's why when they see the Sion, they go to engage him instantly, but Kabashot bought enough time, and then when they chased towards all the tanks, we had a Braum there, we had a Gragas and a Sion, they got enough damage and CC down to set up a kill for Jizuke.
And again, it's Misfits that want to start it off, but I want you to keep your eyes on Cabo Shard and then the carry thing, because Cabo actually disengages and lands a massive two-man knockup. Then you'll notice Attila comes around on the side to play off of that CC and snipe away the carry Hansama on Misfits.
Yeah, 5-man ulti as well from Jacktroll onto Misfits. And if there's one AD carry you want who needs to roam from a lane to a fight, it is something like a Kai'Sa where you can land the W, you can then jump in with your ulti and actually get in range. And that was just a perfect setup for the carries of Vitality.
And when the dust settles, you look at the carry, you look at Attila, comes away with a shutdown and another kill, finishes off a Storm Razor. So they are set up to keep looking for more and more aggression around their star players.
And we've barely had a laning phase in this game. It's just constant action everywhere. Lane swaps now happening. Mickey behind.
Whoa! Here we go. Mickey's gonna jump in. Jackjoel gets locked up. That was a fantastic barrel from Kick as he disengages everybody. Jizuke doesn't seem to be done yet. He's fishing for an opportunity, looking for an ethereal chain, but he won't find it just yet.
And you see every time Attila starts roaming down, he's waiting for a CC to land so he can jump into the backline and snipe someone out.
Well, just in this momentary respite from the fight, 12 minutes in, 9 kills on the clock, I just want to remind everybody that 6 out of these 10 players appeared in our all-pro teams. We've seen every single one of them have pivotal and important plays This
for this,
game
though. There's a Hex Flash.
alone. Here comes Mickey again. That's going to get Attila's flash quite defensively on the back end. And it's not done yet because here comes Jack Troll. Glacial Fissure's available to him. Not going to throw it down just yet. I'm looking at the minimap. There's no further support, but just seeing these guys quite literally going ham, it is a hell of a show here in Madrid.
And that's how you get on the All-Pro team. You play aggressive and you get the kills to make it count. Now again, we're on the Herald. This has been a huge point of contention and a teleport from behind.
All right, Alfari's trying to come in, but so is the
There we go.
onslaught. This is another 5-on-5. The last breath has already been used, and the first victim is Mickey. What more can Senkux do? Where is Hansama and Attila? Hopping over the wall with the rocket jump. That's a feast. Look at that AoE damage from Jizuke. Not going to be enough to finish it up just yet. Attila does get chunked very, very low, and Alfari will be the final member to go down. It ends up being a 2-for-2, or 2-for-1 rather.
And Attila was just untouched in that fight. Once he disengaged right at the start, he was able to kite back and dish out the damage and crush down the front line of Misfits.
And that's the important part, Ender. 2 fights in a row where the carries of Vitality have enough time due to their massive front line to wait for the right moments. They're not the ones getting targeted and killed early on.
Oh no, oh no, oh no, Mickey, you definitely picked the wrong route there. Unstoppable.
Did
or
he?
the unbreakable rather.
Did he save the damage or the turret
Save
right
the
there?
tower, that's the question.
At least
The
some
ultimate does
damage
so.
on the turret was avoided by Mickey making that little play. Oh man, so many fights in this game here. Let's see the setup once again. Let's look at the focus of Misfits. If they want to win a fight, they need to get onto a carry with the Yasuo ulti, but it's all focused first on this. And now they actually get onto Attila, but he gets to jump out, and now it's only the front line taking damage.
And we said in the draft it was so easy for the front line to buy space for Attila. Then you give these opportunities for Jizuke to just jump in and get a 4-man burst of damage. And you'll notice the 2 carries, the people that are doing the damage for Vitality, are not taking any damage whatsoever themselves.
Very, very true. The start was fine for Misfits, but Yasuo needs time. He needs items. He needs full crit build before he's actually going to destroy an 80 carry. So Attila could just jump out, get the shield from his ulti, and be safe after the initial engage here. Misfits not been able to get the lead they wanted in the mid lane to keep forcing these early fights. LeBlanc can do a lot more here in the early game.
Well, we're nearly 15 minutes in, and Vitality 2,000 gold up for now. With Mickey's ultimate earlier, he did save that mid lane turret, at least from follow-up push, so I apologize for doubting you. And Vitality instead, with the control they've accrued, they secure the first Drake of this game. It is an Ocean Drake, and now they're going to group up towards the middle. This time around, Mickey, no ultimate available to him. Vitality do not overdive, but they are remaining grouped up. Maybe going to decide the next objective to pressure.
Yeah, maybe that Rift Herald too. That's how you really start to break open the game, because we still have all turrets standing at the moment. Misfits don't have enough wave clear, actually, with the Tristana here to get these waves knocked down to defend that tower.
And they don't have damage to win the fights either right now. It's happened twice in a row. Them looking for big plays. They look for big engages around Senkux. But he's only sitting on that Zeal and double dagger. He still needs quite a lot of time before he actually can carry this entire game in favor of Misfits.
And of course, I love this drop down that's just thrown up. When Vitality are ahead, they have a 16-3 record. They are pretty good at snowballing, pretty good at running their opponents down. That's part of the reason they ended up taking second during the regular season. Vitality now got themselves this lead, got themselves an advantage, and win a 3-1 for LeBlanc and a 4-0-2 Kai'Sa. They also have the carries to maintain and push through this lead.
Definitely very true. Senkux will try and be a split pusher. He can deal with tanks with Conqueror on his side and his ulti. But once again, still need more items, need more time. I think Misfits have realized, wait a minute, we don't have to overforce fights all the time. We can actually wait a bit.
Yeah, they want to slow things down, wait for the Phantom Dancer to come through on Senkux. Then even something like Asterix Gauge to give him some survivability in these team fights. The more defensive Yasuo builds, the ones we're typically more used to seeing, especially when you just look at the side of Vitality and there's so much burst over there that in order for Senkux to actually have a good fight, he's got to keep himself alive for a really long time. That's where Asterix could come in handy.
They're hovering around the bottom side, hoping someone from Vitality will defend the turret and then try to tower dive them. But Jizuke is actually sitting behind Capushot. So they were potentially setting up their own little trap for Senkux, but obviously it's now going to be a trade of turrets. Attila is far ahead though.
And on the top side of the map, Vitality are set up around this Rift Herald. So even though it is a trade for turrets right now, having that Herald after already taking down 2 of the outer turrets is going to make it so much easier for Vitality to just take the reins, snowball this game completely.
Fisher, you just used the phrase that Attila is far ahead. If I can ask the observers to look at the gold difference, the entirety of Vitality's gold lead is accrued in Attila's back pockets, in his coffers. And when you look at this team composition, initially we saw them building these tanks so that they could enable Kai'Sa. It's working as Vitality intended.
100%, and you're also much stronger on 2 items as Attila compared to the Tristana, who's gonna wait for that eye edge coming in third before you can really be that big late game carry. So all the eggs right now are in the Vitality basket, and especially in Attila's.
And as soon as Attila goes back to base, that's a Ginsu's Rage Blade, which is going to be so effective at out-tracking 4 frontliners. Oh my word!
Heal keeps him alive, a few seconds longer. The tick from not enough.
Poor Hansama, flashback to the semi-final where he's playing against Caps in that game 4. He's also on the Tristana, and he is getting shut down by LeBlanc. This time it's Jizuke doing it, not Caps.
Jizuke stepped up big, getting the assassination. Now Vitality have the Rift Herald full HP going on the first inner tower of the game. They can actually take that for the inhibitor tower. It's looking oddly similar to game number 2.
All right, defensive there, distortion away from the side of Jizuke. The Hex Flash from Mickey didn't find its targets.
The actual flash was being used right there to try and go in.
Gonna be enough. And Vitality, 18 minutes in, like you said, and eerily similar to the previous game where Vitality were just steamrolling Misfits.
So by now Hansama needs to learn that in a 2v1 situation, the LeBlanc, especially now that she's level 11, will kill you. Mickey simply can't do anything in time because you just need a couple of abilities and an ignite.
Yep, that was a WQR. Three button presses, I guess 4 if you include the ignite, and that's going to be a kill, and that's going to be a very happy Jizuke.
It should just be a permanent Jizuke reaction cam, I think. For better or worse, it's definitely entertaining. Just a quick reminder, of course, today's the 3rd place decider. If you are a Schalke fan, you want Misfits to win tomorrow, because that guarantees Schalke go to Worlds. If Schalke win tomorrow, Fnatic go to Worlds. That means Vitality will be sanded in that regional qualifier. Fnatic take on Schalke at 5 p.m. is our opening ceremony. Ready check starts at 4:30. Before that, though, we've got at least a couple more games today.
Fnatic playing for the first seed, and of course being the champions again. While Schalke trying to steal away that first seed on their side. Fnatic is guaranteed to go, no matter what. So they can sit back and relax for now. Oh,
Hansama! Look at that damage. Jizuke almost made the Venn diagram complete the kill, but wasn't able to do so with the dashes around. Instead, it's going to allow Vitality undefended time on this inner turret for now. Mickey and Maxwell, they show up in the M&M combo, unable to really find any sort of advantages yet in this game.
It's just so difficult because Vitality are not stopping. They're actually taking down another inner turret in the top lane with an Attila split push. And you look at Misfits, how do they actually clear away a minion wave? Hansama has to auto it a lot. That leaves him exposed to a Jizuke assassination.
And that's why even though Misfits have tried to slow down now, that's too late, guys. You already opted into the all-in aggression in the early game when you didn't have any damage on your mid lane and when you didn't have any damage on your AD carry, and you lost all those fights. So now you just keep getting punished for what you did 10 minutes ago, and you're not really finding a way to get back in the game because you need too many items on your carries.
Yeah, and now Vitality can go down for this Infernal Drake spawning in 10 seconds, then set themselves up to take down the Baron. Once they take that, the game's pretty much over. Misfits don't have the tools to actually clear away the wave, so it's probably going to come down to a situation where Misfits almost have to fight, but are just so outgunned in terms of itemization with what Hansama and Jizuke are going to be bringing to the table.
Well, let's see where or not Misfits can stall long enough. It's still a lot of headroom on their side. Of course, Infernal did go to Vitality. A 4-man stack for Misfits means they'll get their 2nd tower of the game in the top lane. In actual fact, is that a 5-man stack? I believe that it is. Tower gold will be donated, but is it, what cost is this? Vitality, 5,500 gold up. Uncontested again, Siege in the bottom, as well as middle lane. Vitality just seem to have all the cards to play with.
Yeah, at least Misfits aren't losing an inhibitor and 2 Nexus towers for that turret trade right there. That's about the best thing that's going for them right now.
Once again, Misfits trying to buy time. I see on the side of Senkooks, focus on getting IH second. No, defensive item. I don't think he can even afford to do that. Same thing, honestly, for Hansama. When he played against this LeBlanc in the semifinal, he went for a Hexdrinker after he completed the 2nd seal, or his first seal item. Problem is, again, it further delays his eye-edge. And while it makes sense to try and survive the all-in combo of Jizuke, I'm not sure you can afford it in this game.
Yeah, I don't think you can when you're this far behind. He needs the Infinity Edge to have that added true damage to actually kill a Scion running at his face. Cabochard is so ridiculously tanky that it's almost impossible for Ansama to get through him to even start challenging the carries on the side of Vitality.
And it's so exciting when you step back and you look at the series that we've already witnessed, the 2.5, nearly 3 games. Attila and Jizuke really stepping up when they're on stage in front of this crowd. 4-1-4, 4-0-2. Attila's previous Kai'Sa game was fantastic as well. And for Vitality, a team that plays 4th in spring and now looking to better that, take 3rd, give themselves that advantage in the championship points race towards Worlds, it is very interesting and it's very exciting to see the developments.
Mickey is behind Vitality right now, but he doesn't have Flash on his side. He doesn't find any engage. Eye-Edge just got completed on Senkuk, so now he's ready to fight. His AD carry is not.
Yep.
But at least the mid laner that you were forcing plays around can actually deal damage now.
Yeah, that's good news for Misfits, but Attila, who's starting up this Baron, has the Rune on Hurricane, one of the best team fighting tools now, paired with the Ginsus to hit a massive front line that Misfits are bringing into the pit.
3 items.
Oh!
1.5. Jizuke's already blown up Senkuk. That Infinity Edge means nothing, Deficio. Vitality with 10 kills, make that 11 kills. Have already dominated Misfits once this series. They're doing it a second time. They're gonna peel back to Baron. It's a 5-on-3, but Maxwell's up with Flash and Smites.
Second game in a row where Jizuke is a huge carry. He's not on roaming picks. They're trusting him to win this mid lane. They're trusting him to have more impact in fights than Senkuk's on the other side, and it's working for Vitality.
Each game, he's getting better and better and better. Last game, the Zillion, yeah, he did a lot of damage, but that was a pick to enable his jungler. Now, he is taking the reins here on the LeBlanc, just destroys Senkux the second he shows his face.
Chain did not get win wall,
Easy.
and Jizuke just combos him down, and now there's nothing you can do on the side of Misfits.
I mean, just look at them. Alfari's on the top fight. Maxlor standing between his AD carry. There's no way to actually enter a team fight if you are Misfits, because you're just going to get blown up way too fast.
Yeah, and again, so much of this is because Misfits kept trying to fight in the early game, and they kept losing those fights.
And it's also, again, the Infinity Edge for Senkux, which in theory is great if you can deal damage, if you can actually stay alive for a while, but he needs survivability, and he's just not going to have that with this type of build.
They tried to push bot lane.
They're in the wrong place again.
Misfits, the second time this series, making a move on the map that is questionable at best. In game 2, it was that 18-minute split push call. This time around, it is donating an inhibitor. Now, all of a sudden, Senkux is in trouble. Teleport's being channeled by Cabochard. Senkux again running for his life. As long as he's not in the base, he can't be defending with the team. That Infinity Edge doesn't mean much. Jizuke's already blown up Hansama. Didn't quite see how that setup happened. Don't think you really need to. It's LeBlanc who's fed 6-1-4 before the kill, 7-1-4 after. The next inhibitor turret is being focused down. Despite the fact Jizuke is low.
Senkux in the back.
Yeah, but what can he do?
Can't
Because
get
the
to
turret
him.
is still untouched. Senkux can't find or stick to Jizuke enough.
He's trying to find him out, but LeBlanc is just way too mobile. Now the rest of Vitality enters the top lane. The inhibitor is exposed. There's still 10 seconds on Hansama, so they get away with 2 inhibs, a kill, and no reply from Misfits.
Everyone gets to go back to base. Senkuk's even flashed to try and get onto the Suga, but he had his own flash ready to stay alive. This is the kill onto Ansama from before.
I mean, he's got 3 dudes standing right in front of him. Jizuke expends everything to flash into a second cast of the W. Insane stuff.
I just want to remind everyone that the rework LeBlanc could not do that. She actually needed a bit of time for her passive to be ready.
This is what the people wanted, and that's what they get.
This is what you wanted, and you're getting it. And Jizuke, he's fed, and he's killing Hansama over and over.
I do not want to see Jizuke in a side lane roaming, impacting mid laner again. This LeBlanc performance is fantastic, and it was that last pick into the Yasuo. It's working out now in favor of Vitality. Let's see if Misfits, they're down 9,000 gold at 26 minutes. The last inhibitor standing is being pressured, and Misfits, you're late to the party. They do not defend the turret. They're currently unable to defend the inhibitor itself. Attila hasn't even been threatened takes a little bit of lightning damage, but it simply doesn't matter. Glacial Fisher comes down, but Jackstraw is going to put it out, pushing all the way forward. That's a buster shot backwards for the first time in a long time. Hunt Summer's not instantly blown up. Killer Instinct is available to Attila. Nobody's died just yet.
We did not get the ulti from Senkox here, despite multiple members being knocked up. He's still saving it.
Vitality just waiting for the minions. Bottom lane is here. They still have Baron. Top lane with the supers is going to be rolling in. Misfits will have to draw the line. The answer is when.
Where is Senkox's ultimate? He needs to find a target. Caboshot's not the man. Super minions are barreling onto the Nexus turrets. All of a sudden, 5 seconds left on Baron. That's going to end up. That's a defensive dash from Jizuka. I think he was headbutted away, in fact. Caboshot gets a kill onto Mickey. That's a knockup, but nobody's dead just yet. Jizuka and Attila remain alive, pushing backwards. Attila, Killer Instinct forward. He's got 1, looking for 2, 3, 4. That's all of Misfits wiped. Vitality bust open the base, destroy the Nexus, and are 1 win away from 3rd place.
Second game in a row where Vitality win a couple of fights in the early game, and the moment they're ahead, they never stop. They just continue to force everything. They take all your turrets, they grab the Baron, and this LeBlanc pick was super, super good for creating picks and then setting up Attila to win every single fight.
Jizuke was absolutely insane in that match. See Yamato Cannon congratulating the players on the stage, but saying it's not over just yet. They need 1 more victory in potentially 2 more games, and that's all it takes to improve on their standing from the spring.
And see if they can actually get that 2nd seed for Worlds.
That's the dream.
All they need if they get 3rd place is for Fnatic to win the final. And Vitality will be Europe's 2nd seed. They're focused. They're definitely very hungry. And I love the fact that Jizuke is on a carry.
I absolutely love seeing that level of performance. And on the other side, Misfits struggling to adapt, struggling to deal with the early game pressure. They had some scaling comps in game 2 and game 3. A little slower out the gates and maybe punished for it. Need to see what they're going to adapt now that it's do or die time.
Exactly. Adapt is the key word, because I feel like the way they adapt and make change is to go back to what worked in game 1. Strong early game jungler for Maxlore, and then a bot lane you can play around. Tristana isn't really that. They had 1 good gank, but apart from that, every single fight seemed to go in Vitality's favor.
Yeah, they were too eager to show they could play around mid lane. In this one, they just kept forcing fights around the mid lane without having proper damage. 3 massive frontliners on the side of Vitality, and then 2 carries in the back who could actually deal pretty serious damage, is what they ended up deciding. It was all about those early fights.
Well, you talked about it already. For Vitality, win today, hope Fnatic win tomorrow, and you book your ticket to Worlds. On the other side, Misfits, if they lose in that first round of the regional gauntlet, Vitality are on the verge of securing 3rd place, improving their standings from spring. We'll be right back with Match Point.